The dental school students at Dalhousie University are in a lot of hot water for some over-the-top and just appalling Facebook posts, which have subsequently been taken down. They called it the so-called Gentleman's Club. This is some really absurd things. I'm not going to. Well, there they are. They're up there. You can take a look at them yourself. Terrible stuff. Okay, John Downs, Marissa Samkew. We've had this issue thread throughout the entire year, so-called rape culture. Does this issue at Dalhousie University with these dental students saying, would you hate F her? Would you use chloroform on her? That's what was in these guys' postings. Yeah. They've now, suspended their exams till next year. Some of them are fourth-year dental students. Does this perpetuate that notion of rape culture?
Yeah, absolutely no question about that. I think what's incredibly disturbing is these people are essentially training to be doctors and would have access to medicine. You
know what they say about dentists, though? They're doctors that failed out of medical
school. Yes, exactly. I've heard that before.
Just offended a huge part of that.
We did. Anti-dentite, that's what you are.
Anti-dentite.
But no, this is incredibly serious. These guys are idiots, quite frankly. It's not hard to track and figure out who is responsible for this. And this is not an issue of free speech at all. We're talking about a code of conduct that they have to adhere to as students of this university, and I'm guaranteeing they broke that code. Not very bright. This is going to haunt them for a long time.
It's because they broke that code that the school feels they have some sort of authority to discipline these individuals, except that it didn't happen on school property. It wasn't as if they were late for an exam. They weren't plagiarizing. This is what happened in their personal life, and I think it's ridiculous that the school would take some sort of discipline measure.
Even though they actually named 2 students here?
Well, see, that's the thing. They named 2 of their dental classmates, 2 women, in this, so very candidly about and who they put in these posts, and to the point where they put their pictures up. That's where I think that the school does feel so very much compelled.
I know, it's just so often when we hear about these stories, it's these stupid kids that take to Facebook, and again, watch the news a little bit, children, because you know better. You should know better.
You're one Facebook and one tweet away.
But well, okay, so they're young adults, whatever. So often we hear about these stories, and people are taking disciplinary measures. Maybe the police will get involved. Well, it's what happened in their personal time, in their personal space. If anything, they should be exposed for the idiots that they are, rather than taking these sort of disciplinary measures. I mean, it's not the responsibility of the school to monitor what you do in your private time.
Can't pass a law against stupidity.
Yeah, but you can pass. Look, if you've got a code of conduct, you're perfectly within your rights to have that code of conduct saying you cannot do anything that's going to disparage the name of the school.
What I just find so fascinating, though, is students who do make it into medical school, I mean, they have to write a dental exam. Like, they're not dumb intellectually. Perhaps in their, they're not savvy in their own personal decisions, but there's been so much coverage about issues like this all across the world in the past year. Do they not understand what happened at the University of Ottawa? Do they not understand what happened at other universities with these so-called rape chants? I mean, whether you agree or disagree with them, at the very least, we've got this whole generation of millennials that just have no common sense applied.
But what's the appropriate way forward? I mean, on the one hand, you can ignore it, you can dismiss it for so long until something actually happens. We have to prove that there's a real threat here. And I'm not confident, I'm not sure that there's a real threat here. It sounds to me like these guys were just being idiots.
Well, if it was an employer would be completely within their rights to fire you if they found out about that page.
Okay, we're